This deal is either going to cash flow or it doesn't. Let's find out. I got 2 Las Vegas properties that we already own, but I haven't yet underwritten them for a long-term partnership model. So what you're about to see is completely live. This is not scripted, as you will tell by listening to me. No cherry picked numbers, nothing. We're doing this live action. We're going to run the numbers together, look at the project, the expenses, the cash flow, and the returns mostly. And these are properties that we're offering to long-term capital partners. We have a few that are already looking at it, but if the numbers work, great. If they don't, you'll see that too. That's what real underwriting looks like. So, all right, we're going to jump right into it. And if you don't know me, my name is Aaron Lambert, and this is my live 30 days of me talking about anything and everything real estate that I'm working on and some stuff I'm not working on. So, if you enjoy it, if you want to learn more about business, see the real on the inside, and understand what I'm doing and who I am, please like and subscribe so you can get notified whenever a new live comes aboard. So let's get right into it. I don't want to waste any of yours times nor mine. So, just so if you don't know, if you're watching for the first time, I'm a real estate investor out of Las Vegas. I have properties all over the country. Louisiana got short terms. Texas have short terms and co-living, which is a shared housing. I do fix and flips and new construction. And currently, we're about to close on a group home for Alzheimer's here in Las Vegas, which I'm super excited about because it lines up completely with my 55 plus co-living. So let's see here. Hopefully this music isn't too loud. All right, we're going to get right into it. I'm not going to waste my time, your time. So we have 2 properties here in Las Vegas that we are now. I'm just going to share my entire window because it makes it a lot easier to deal with. All right. So 2 properties. First property is Colton. So it is active. We just put it on the market. We had a buyer that was going to come grab this, and they were, for lack of better terms, dragging their feet on getting their money. They were working on a HELOC, and then, anyways, long story short, they're still tinkering around. So this property currently is generating $5,000 a month. And we're going to underwrite it both for, it's going to be a $450 purchase price at $5,000 a month. Let's see if the numbers work out. First, we want to look and see what loan we have on it. I already know what loan we have on it. Right now, we have 80% of 420, whatever that is, 420 times 0.8. So we have a $336,000 loan on this right now. But we're going to underwrite this with the new purchase price and the new income. So what we're doing to this 2-car garage is getting converted into 2 bedrooms and a 1 bath. It's a pretty deep garage. Right now, like I said, it's 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. So this is going to be a 6-bed, 3-bath, which is perfect for what we're doing. This place is already, we did it nice, as you can see. All new fresh countertops, all this, everything's new, right? Everything's new in here. Really nice place, decent location for the clientele we have. So let's go ahead and get into it on a new loan purchase with 20% down. Actually, I want to do 25 because I was talking to my DSCR lender and he was like, if you're doing a purchase, you might have to come in with 25. And the reason being is because we cannot use the income that's generating on it now. Now, there's ways around that. There's ways we could structure it, which we are structuring it. But anyways, let's get into this right here. So property is, what is the property? Colton, 3209 Colton. Let's see what's going on. And I want to tell, I don't know who's in Las Vegas, but it's freaking hot, guys. Like super hot. Yesterday, me and my dad, we're driving. He's in town visiting from me, and we're driving, and we look at the temperature, and it's like, okay, it says 106, but then it says feels like 101. We're like, okay, I guess. We're used to, and so we're from Louisiana. We're used to seeing 75 degrees feels like 95. If y'all are in Vegas, y'all know what I'm talking about. Brutal out here, guys. Okay, current monthly income. Actually, no, it's 48. All right. 4,800 cash on cash return. I have some investors looking at 15%. So 25% down, interest rate, 30-year acquisition cost. If we're doing a new loan, it would be 3%. If they wanted to bring in $10,000, that's what that would be for their reserves. Oops, let's see. Occupancy, again, 98. And I've went over this before. We stay booked. Once we get booked, we stay booked. And the turnover rate is so short, it almost doesn't even register on the Richter, right? And the reason being, if you have 9 individuals in a house, let's just say averaging $800 a bed, and you have one individual that has to get out or they have to move, well, it only takes us 14 days to put another person in there. So that's $800 a month. They're gone half the month. That's $400. So although it does register, it's like very, very little. Maintenance on this, put at 3. CapEx, I'm actually going to put at 2 because we replaced the AC and the roof was good. I'll put this at 4. Let's see what the taxes are. I'm pretty sure it's like I think it's like yeah, $1,500 a year. The other one we looked at earlier was like, I don't know, $975. It was like crazy. It's like $78 a month. Okay, annual insurance, that looks good. Utilities, these all come default on my underwriting sheet because this is just kind of what it is. Unless we have landscaping, then I'll add it. But as you can see, there's no landscaping here. There's a bunch of rocks. All right, so what do we need to make? So we need to make $6,275 to break even if we buy at 450 and we have to put 25% down. 25% is going to be, I think, the high. Well, 30% could be the high, but 20% is our target. And the reason why we're targeting 20% is just because, well, it makes sense. And we can do it on a refi. So I'll tell you all a little bit about how we do that. But all right, let's see. So 62. So if we come in and we're going to do, well, to do the garage conversion. So this thing does not make sense as it is, right? It's making 4,800. It doesn't make sense. If they come in with 20%, it still doesn't make sense if they're trying to get 15% cash on cash. That's what I love about this calculator. So let's see what it does at 12%. Still, they need to make 5,700 for it to make sense. Well, let me make sure my numbers are correct. We are currently making 48. Yes. All right. So yeah, $5,768 is what this property needs to generate if it was to come in with 90,000, 100,000, and a total of 113,500 is what it would be. And then this is their expenses for the month, right? Now let's say they weren't using a management fee. Okay, cool. Then they only need to make 5,100. Now I do have a buyer that we don't do the management fee. And the reason being is because I come in as a partner. So my partnership cut is me managing the property. So no management fee there. So, what just happened? How do we go from, what did that do? This is what happened. Accidentally bumped the purchase price. All right, so 5,100. Now, once we do the garage conversion, of course, we have to bring in more cash. So the way that we're going to do it is because we owe 336, right? So this 90 plus, let's see, 450 minus 336 equals 114,000, which we will give a little bit of that to closing. So, oh yeah, the closing cost is actually gonna be 2% because we're gonna carry 1% of that. So that's $4,000. So we'll net $110,000. Let's just call it 105. 105. So we're going to allocate a portion of that 105 to the rehab. And then the rehab on this one to convert the garage, I think it's like 25,000. So we're going to put in, let's say 25, that's 12 and a half each. So they'll bring 12 and a half. Let's just call it 13. Cool. So they're going to bring in 13, 20% down, 7% interest, closing costs, because we're going to carry 1% of that. All right, there's that. CapEx. Okay, they're going to bump their CapEx up. That's that. That's that. Okay, that all looks good. Okay, so when we do the garage conversion, this thing's already pulling in 4,800. This minimum amount that we're going to add on for 2 bedrooms, our average is like 1,200 a bedroom. So, but if I want to be conservative, I'm just going to add, we're currently making 48. So I'm going to add 2 bedrooms at 1,000. That brings me to $6,800. So that gives us 1,400, but that's at the 12. We need to bump this up to 15% still. So 15% cash on cash return preferred. There's an additional $1,111 per month on the light end. On the heavy end, it would be 72, which is $1,500 a month. So this is the deal. This is the deal. What we'd have to do is we've held this property for, let me see when we bought it. We refinanced, but I think we could still. $420. Oh, what am I looking for? Underwriting, baby. This is underwriting, guys. If you don't know how to underwrite, this is part of it. All right. So what we want to look at, we sold it. We bought it. So we've refied this property twice already. Oh no, once. Sorry. So we bought it in August for $260. So we actually have some equity in this property, more than I thought. Then we got a new loan on it for $410. Actually, no, we don't have equity in it. We took the equity out. Now we have a new loan at $410 minus 20% of that. 410 times 0.8 equals 328. So our loan balance is 328 on this, which is good. So now, because we bought it, we're good. I think we could just go straight into a refinance because we're already 6 months down the road. And we can get a higher valuation. She valued this at 420. Let's see if we can pull some comps. So another thing too, so whenever we're selling to our investors, I want to say selling, whenever we're offering this to our investors, there's always a premium, right? So the investors are going to pay a premium of anywhere between $20,000 and $30,000, sometimes more depending, right? This one, she's just offering on the market for 420, but If their investors are going to come in and they're just going to put up the money and we're going to continue to manage it, it's going to be a 450 price tag. So that 30,000, if we can get it on a refi, that's great. If not, then we'll have to bring it in. We'll have to refigure the numbers. But what we want is whatever we offer our investors, whatever out of pocket we offer our investors, like let's just say it's 120. Hey, you come in at 120, we're going to give you X preferred, and this is the projected after the fact. Then that's what we're not going to up the purchase price on them just because our numbers change if we have to do this now. So, all right. So, anyways, this works out. This 2-car garage, we're going to be at 7,200. Let's say we didn't get a refi at the. If we couldn't get the 450, let's say we can only get it at the 420. Okay, that's actually going to be a better loan. 420, but they're still going to have to bring in the additional. So we'll just say an additional 30. All right. Still 70. The numbers don't change much. It changed like, what was it, 100? It was $1,195 or $1,111. Would it change like 20 bucks? We didn't change anything else over here. And then, of course, at the 7,200, the high mark. Now, coming at 420, we're going to get our original, we're going to get about 80 out of it. That's at 420 minus 320. Yeah, we're going to get 94 out of it. Plus a little bit, plus an additional 20 grand. So 100, let's see what they got to bring in. They got to bring in 135. It's a little higher on the cash to close, but they're still receiving 15% cash on cash, and they're still receiving an additional on top of the cash for cash. So there's 2 ways that we do our proper projects. It's sometimes if the investor's set up, meaning if they already have like systems in place, if they already have like all their back end set up, then we'll do like a 1/3 split, right? If they don't have that up and we're doing all of that, then it's a 50-50. So what does that mean? So after we own 50% of the property, they own 50% of the property, and we split 50% of whatever this delta is right here. So I mean, $1,500, that's $750 a month extra that we're splitting. Also, on the projects where we're doing a 50-50, we're only offering 12%, and then there is a 10% management fee. And of course, all this is negotiable because everybody's different and every project's different, but this is what it would look like. And because of that, if we do it that route, we would drop this down to like 20,000. There we go. They're going to bring in 125. They still get their 12% plus additional 700. Close. What does that work out to for the investor? You got 1,338 divided by 2 times 12. That's $8,000 divided by 125,000. That's an additional 6.4% on top of their 12, so it's like 18.5%. Cash on cash return, not including their equity, their appreciation, and their depreciation tax benefits. So this is a win, guys. We got our winner. Ding, 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 ding. On to the next one. All right, this one. Don't know why this is the street view. Let's see if we can get a street view. We've rehabbed this house, so this garbage can is no longer there, just so you know. This house is really nice size. It's like 2,500 square feet. Currently, it has 4 beds, 3 baths. Wonderful. We don't have to add another bathroom. We just have to we have to convert a very large living room. Currently, this is the income. These people are moving in as we speak. So over the next, let's say 1 to 2 weeks, we'll have these rooms. This is 3 people. So this is a shared room, 800 bed. This is a private room. So you could see how the average is, right? So these are all private. So we normally average at 1,200. And then we're going to, the way we do our underwriting on this next one is we're going to do it low at 2,000 a room instead of 1,200. If we add a third bathroom, we might bump it to 1,200, depending. So, all right, Burgundy, 25. That's a big one. That's a big one. I don't think we'll have any problem having 2 nice size rooms in this additional living room. I wish I had the layout, but I don't. All right. So, sorry. All right. So 469. This one's, it's like a 480 val. So I'm going to do it at the valuation. We refinanced it at 440 to pull some equity out. We're going to do this thing at 480. See what it comes out to. So we currently have, was it 1,700? 1711, that's 2,800 plus another 16 or plus another 12. That's $5,600 is what it's making right now. 56. All right. 20% down, 30 years. Closing costs, renovations. All right. So if we're only converting, let me see what my notes are. Close a room, convert into 2 rooms. Yes, we're not doing an additional bathroom because we already have 3. So let's see here. So we don't need this, and I think we're going to get enough. Let me do my math. So we got 480. We got 440 times 0.8 equals. So we got 352 on there. So we're gonna net about 128 when we refi. I mean, whenever we bring in a partner. Now the partner's got to bring in pretty much all of that, like the equity. Now I want y'all to be aware. So if a partner brings in, if we're selling a house at 480, it's worth 480, and the partner brings in $96,000 or whatever he brings in to the down payment, maybe additional reserves. We don't really count that on the equity. So this will be the equity position. They will have a $96,000 equity position. So whenever we go resell, they'll get their 96,000 back first. Actually, no, they'll get the whole thing except for closing costs. So closing costs is one of those things that you just, that's not counted in the loan. But any additional like this, so he will get roughly 105,000. Let's see, what is the closing cost? 2%. I need to fix that and see what it comes out to. But 2% of 480, that's 8,000. A little, that's like $10,000. So out of 115, he'll get 105 on his equity position. So whenever we go resell, let's say 5 years down the road, he'll get that first, and then after that, it'll be all the profit. Whatever else is remaining on equity side. All right, so this property, 480. This one's a little bigger, so I'm gonna up the. We're gonna do both scenarios. We're gonna do one that has no management, and we'll go ahead and up this to 5% and 5%, and then we're gonna up this to 725. Monthly cleaning, 150. Turnover. Monthly pest control is really not any pest out here. Miscellaneous. Okay, this all looks good. All right. So we want to get them 15% cash on cash. So we need to bring in $6,100 a month. Currently, it's bringing in $5,600 a month. And then once we do the conversion, which we're going to have to add. So if we're only adding 2 rooms, it's inside the house. We don't have to do insulation. We don't have to do plumbing. So the cost to convert that is going to be, I'd say max $10,000. So I'm going to add an additional 5 for them because we're gonna split it, right? It's like a split. They do bring in 5, we bring in 5. All right, so we need to make $61.79 a month for them to get their 15% cash on cash. And let's go over the numbers again. That covers closing costs, renovations, additional reserves, 98 management fee, no management fee on these guys. We bumped up the CapEx. We bumped all these numbers up because of the size of the property. So that all looks good. It's no longer Colton. It's the other one, Burgundy. But whenever we add the 2 rooms, we're going to add an additional minimum $2,000, $1,000 for each room. That brings us to what? $7,600, baby. We right on the money around this. This is the number right here. This is the number. Now let's see if we dropped and we brought in an investor at 12% cash on cash. I mean 12%. 12% cash on cash preferred. Then we're splitting up 1,700. Then we're going to add our management fee. Doop, doop, doop. There we go. Still, there's $1,000 after the 12%. So this one's not as sexy, right? For a 12% investor at a 50% cash or 50% equity split. It might work if we could fudge the numbers and go, not fudge the numbers, but change our equity position. Maybe it's 60-40, right? Maybe we drop our maintenance fee over here, right? Maybe we up there. There's so many different ways to make it work. If we're off a little bit, we work with our investors, right? Because we're getting a large sum up front for all of the work that we put in and all of the equity that we put in and all of the money that we put in. And to be completely honest, some of the money that we're getting out from these refis or from these partnerships is going to go back to pay our short-term investors. Like, we can't operate without investors. We have investors on the short end and on the long end. I love it because I get to build more relationships. I get to make other people money while I'm making myself money. I don't want to make money by myself. It's boring. So these work, guys. These are home runs, in my opinion, for any investor. Because of the cash on cash, the additional cash flow, and also your equity, right? Your appreciation. Now, let's go to my other calculator that actually has an appreciation. We could run the numbers on what it looks like for appreciation. All right. So we're going to take this from the top. We'll just go ahead and put in the address. This is another one that we're looking at. So we're going to have 6 rooms, 3 bathrooms, 24. Let's just call it that. We don't have to be exact. All right. So we're going to get a 480 purchase, 20% down, 7%. All right. This is 15. Well, let's go see what Burgundy is. I forgot what it is. Taxes, $1,952. This one's a little higher. I wonder why. All right, $1,952. Let's just call it $2,000 to be safe. $1,800. Well, let's just call this $2,000 to be safe. So we're at $2,888 a month. Make sure this is right. I'll make sure these numbers make sure it's not pulling off of these over here. Okay, good. All right, we're good there. So closing cost, we say 2% monthly reserves. We said we were going to bring in 10,000. Where is this 53? Oh, this is coming from. Okay, we're adding no rooms. 6 rooms. All right, we got 6 rooms. What is this? We don't need a furnishing. It's going to come out of 6 rooms. All right, let's do our average per room. So we're at 7,600. 76 divided by 6. That's $1,266, $67 not a week. We got to do monthly. So monthly is, well, let's do, it's $1,266 a month. We're not charging weekly, so that comes out to, let me see, times, what did I say, 6 equals, oops, 1,267 times 6 equals times 12 equals, okay, divided by 52, 1,754. What? Am I retarded right now? Yes, I am. 1,266 times 12. All right, we got the room with the monthly room rate of 1,267 average, time 12 months, divided by 52. It's $292 a week. That's our weekly rate. So $292. There we go. Wow. Told you this wasn't scripted, guys. All right, so why do we have this? We have 0 rooms here. Where's this number coming from? This, I didn't build this calculator, guys. This is a great calculator. I'm just trying to figure out where. Okay, this is 6 times 6 rooms. Okay, that's what it is. All right. Wow. Okay, so gas. We got water and sewer. Let's just say that's 200. Oops. 200, and then we have 600. Garbage is not $200. Internet Wi-Fi is 100. Landscaping is 0. House cleaning is, we did 150 on the other one. Set supplies, we did 75. Pad split is 0, 10% there. CapEx, we did 5 and 5. 5 and 5. 5681. 7592 a month. 20% cash on cash, which the 15%, and then it comes out, it's got a 911. So did we do our numbers a little differently? Let's see. So we have, let's go do our 10% here, 5, 1,500. Oh, we were at 2,000 there. That's the difference. We did a little bit more on this, is 1,900. We did a little bit more on this. 2,000 there. 725. We did total utilities at 725. What is this over here? We did. Oh, we got additional insurance. Take that away. So this needs to be 125. Garbage, Wi-Fi, internet. Oh, we added 725 total with the Wi-Fi. Okay, so this would be 500. House cleaning. Okay, that looks better. Yeah. All right, yeah, so 23%. We're at a 7. Yeah, right at 7,600 gross income. 2186 is our monthly. So after you take your 15% preferred, let's go over here. Preferred return 15. And then if you did a 50-50, so on a 50-50, a 15% return, PMP bringing in 113,000, which what did we say was bringing in? 120. So we have to bump the number up because we want to be on point. $7,000 of additional, let's call it rehab furnishings. Where did we get the reserve? Where's the reserves at? Oh yeah, we did the reserves right here. 7,700. It was supposed to be 10 grand. Did we have the 10 grand over here? This is why it's really good to just do one calculator. Did we have the 10 grand? Yes, 10 grand and then 5 grand. So yeah, it's an additional 8 grand that we need to add. Would cover that. All right, let's see. We're still at a 21.6%. And then that is an 18.3% cash on cash with a yearly ROI of 42%. How do we get that? Well, you get your preferred, you get your additional cash flow, you get your debt pay down, which we both get, you get your appreciation. This thing appreciates at, where are those numbers at? I think it's maybe it's 3% a year or 2%. I guess we could figure it out, right? What is 480? What is 2% of 480? No, it's 3%. So they got this set at 3% a year appreciation. And this is a 5-year. Look out. This one is with property management fees. So yeah. So like me as the partner on this scenario, I would get paid $10,000 roughly throughout the year. I would know $13,000 would be what I would get for this property out the year. So roughly a little over $1,000 a month. And then, but I get equity, like I'm an equity partner. So, 5 years down the road, this is a 5-year outlook. 182,000 for me is total returns, tax savings, depreciation, interest payments, breaks it all down. So appreciation, 66,000. So this is what my total returns would look like after 5 years. If we kept it for 10 years, which it'd probably be, then we're looking at this. As long as we don't have like a crazy market crash, this is what it would be. And for me as the investor, is infinite cash on cash because outside of my sweat equity and my original that I put up, if any, I would have infinite cash on cash return. Yay! And for investors that come in, they don't really have to do anything. So I'm doing all the work. All right. Well, hey, look, that is pretty much it for this evening's underwriting. Over here in the amen corner. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Let me stop sharing. All right, guys. Well, if anybody's watching this, hopefully this was informational for y'all and y'all learned a little bit about underwriting, and at least how I underwrite and how I underwrite for my investors. If you're an investor and you what I do for my underwriting is, like, if I know I have an investor that's coming that is looking at my properties, then I tell them to give me their underwriting. Like, how do you underwrite? Give me your tools, and then I'll underwrite according to their needs. That's where that 15% came from, and the what was it? The 15% in no management fees, right? That was from one investor. And then that's a third share for me. And then another investor is, they're okay with the 12%, and then we get a management fee, and then we do a 50-50 split. That investor's not really set up like the other one. So, anyways, hopefully this was helpful. If you like it, please hit the button, like, subscribe, share with your friends, tell your neighbors, and we'll see you next time. Peace. Guess I got to end it.